From jumping horses to leaping into real estate, this week's episode covers quite the journey. Join us today to hear about Melissa Douglas, a former professional equestrian who was going to college during the pandemic, only to find her way into real estate. In her first year, Melissa closed 14 transactions, was a finalist for RAS Media's Rookie of the Year, received the Mid-Illinois Realtor Association Rising Star Award, and the Berkshire Hathaway Central Illinois New Agent of the Year. Melissa shares with us how she did it and her tips for new agents, so you won't want to miss the interview today.
Welcome to Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission, where we dive into real stories, big wins, and early lessons learned from highly successful rookie real estate agents and brokers. This is the series where we explore how real estate transforms lives, one home at a time, by sitting down each week with a new agent or broker who has found incredible success in their first year. Your hosts are instructors and leaders at Colibri Real Estate School, one of the largest real estate educators in the nation, where we focus on helping people like you get started or find continued success in their careers.
Hello, and welcome to Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission, brought to you by Colibri Real Estate Schools. I'm your host, Tina Lapp. I have been in real estate education and helping individuals enter and thrive in their careers for over 30 years.
Hey, and I'm Andrew, also with Colibri Real Estate. Welcome to the episode this week. We're excited to have you.
We are here today with Melissa Douglas. Melissa, will you take a moment to introduce yourself, where you live, and what company you're with?
Of course. So my name is Melissa Douglas. I currently live in Central Illinois, specifically Bloomington, Normal. And I work for Berkshire Hathaway as an independent agent. And I'm not originally from Bloomington, but I transferred to school at Illinois State. And I'm from about 45 minutes north of Chicago.
Okay, so not too far away, but definitely different. Yeah.
Yes.
So, Melissa, what were you doing before you became a real estate agent?
So I was in college. I was going to school at Illinois State University. Before that, I was riding horses professionally on the North Shore of Chicago. So that's kind of what I started doing. As my first adult job, I rode professionally and I helped train horses and people to ride. We competed all over the country and we bought and sold horses internationally. So I did that for a few years and then ended up stepping away. I transferred to Illinois State. I got my degree in sociology and anthropology and then a minor in psychology.
Okay, so how'd you decide to start a career in real estate? How'd you make that transition? What inspired you to switch?
Yeah, so I've always had an interest in interior design, and I love helping people, and that's kind of a big reason why I started writing, was to help individuals, with their passion and their hobbies. And so I just, thought real estate and helping families find their homes or investments would be a great, fit for me. So I started by kind of shadowing a few local agents. And then it kind of blossomed into something that I'm super passionate about and just really made me excited.
That's great. So was there a specific moment in time or a person or someone that influenced that decision to make that change?
Yeah, I would say when I met, honestly, my managing broker, our first meeting that we had together, we really clicked and I felt very supported in, starting a career in a place I'm not from. I didn't grow up here and I was going to college during COVID. So I honestly didn't have a ton of friends or connections. So I was kind of starting out a career from almost nothing and, feeling the support from a managing broker and, given the resources to make me successful, meeting him that day, I was kind of like, okay, I can do this. Like this is what I want to do.
Were you still in school when you met him or had you finished?
Yes. No, I was about a year out from graduation. So I graduated almost 2 years ago to like almost the day. And so I met him my second to last semester of college. And so then I decided to take my license course over the summer. And then my last semester of college, I also did an internship with my brokerage, kind of helping shadow, different things in the office, kind of like the back office of things, our social media, and then shadowing other agents with things like new construction, showings, open houses, things like that.
You were fortunate you had that summer off to go look into real estate education. How did you choose the school that you went to for real estate?
It was recommended to me by the training at my brokerage, and I liked that it was online, so I could be in the summer while I was still working my college job. So I kind of had the flexibility of doing it kind of whenever I had the chance.
Did you have any challenges getting through it, or in your life while you were doing it?
No. So the schooling was not bad. When I started college again in the fall, so I took my test in October. So I had my last section of the classes. I was doing my internship and then studying for the test. And I was also a TA in college, and I was working in a lab in college. So I just filled my plate right up.
You were busy.
So that was a little bit, that was a little bit hard to balance everything. But in the end, I loved everything I did. So it's worth it.
Wow. Oh my gosh, Melissa. So you're riding horses, you're competing, you're a TA, you're taking classes, you're graduating, you're diving into real estate. As you were going through that educational process, what were your expectations going into your first year of real estate?
Honestly, I wasn't expecting as much as I think I experienced. I thought, that first year I had always heard, it's a lot of agents don't make it past the second year, the newer ones. So I wasn't expecting a whole lot. I just wanted to be a sponge and learn as much as I could, setting a good foundation to, start the rest of my career. But I wasn't honestly even planning or hoping for as much success that I ended up having.
So, Melissa, how long after obtaining your real estate license did you get to your first closing table and close your first transaction?
Yeah, so I officially started January 1st, and my first closing, I believe, was mid to end of March. So it was actually pretty quick.
Yeah, congratulations. That is quick. So any memorable experiences, maybe funny, maybe stressful from your early days while you were still learning?
Yes. I'm still learning today. I'm just now going into my third year. So I still feel, very rushed into the real estate world. So I'm learning all the time, but I've definitely had my fair share of unique transactions. It's actually a bit of a joke around my office that I get just some interesting ones. Just some weird instances that happen. And, I'll call my managing brokers and I'll be like, hey, how do I deal with this? And they're like, I actually have not experienced that. So, let me do some research. But, I've been very grateful and lucky with all the, wonderful clients that I've had. I've had a few bumps in the road and learning curves. But, nothing too crazy, just kind of funny instances of transaction happenings that, are just interesting per person. I did sell a mobile home earlier this year, but which isn't even technically a real estate contract. It was on a bill of sale, but they were wonderful people, and I was super grateful to be part of that for the young woman's journey into home ownership. But yeah, I get some funny ones, but I like it. I love, that's a huge part of why I love this job is every day is different. Every deal is different. I'm never going to get bored. Everything's interesting to me. So yeah.
It's great. And it sounds like you said you pick up the phone and you call your brokers. Do you have a mentor? Is it the broker who brought you in that helps you navigate?
Yeah. So he's definitely a huge resource for me. I know I can always call him at any time of the day. But I do have another agent who is kind of taking me under her wing. She's, I think, 4 or 5 years in. So she's still relatively new into it, but she's hugely successful. And she's been such a great mentor to me. She's the one that let me shadow some showings, co-host open houses, or host her open houses. She's referred me a few clients, and I know I can call her any time of the day, text her with any of my questions, and I know she can answer that. So she's been a huge guiding light for me, fully under her wing. And we're a pretty funny duo. I'm about 5 foot and, dark hair, and she's about 6'2" and bright blonde hair. So we're a funny little duo together, but yeah, she's been a fantastic mentor to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's helpful to have a mentor in your corner.
Yeah.
Did you have any challenges that you faced in your first year? I imagine coming out of school.
Yeah. So my biggest challenge, I would say, would be my age, and that I look much younger than I am. And I know later in life I will be grateful for it, but that's been a rather challenge for me. There is a majority of agents in my area that are more seasoned than me. They've been around for a very long time. So I wouldn't say necessarily backlash from them, but more so doubting my abilities, being newer and young, maybe underestimating my work or what I can do or my responsibilities. So that's been a bit of an issue, and not issue, I guess I should say, obstacle. And also, others, looking at me, I look, younger. I'm 26. I have my own house. I have a full life, but people are like, oh, are you even 18 kind of thing? So I think gaining that trust initially with people for such a huge decision in their life. But every time, once I start working with the client in the transaction, they're like, I would have never guessed, you're either that new or that young. So I think it's just the initial, thinking I'm less able or younger than I am.
Yeah, that can be a struggle. How did you overcome it? How do you convince people that you're legitimate?
Just proving my abilities, confidence, and, standing up for myself, whether that be to the client or to the other agent on the transaction, standing up for myself and my knowledge. I have the knowledge. I do know what I'm talking about. And if I don't, I know who to ask and I'll get those answers. So I would say a big part of that is confidence and, trusting my knowledge and abilities.
So, Melissa, how did you use that to your advantage in your marketing? What techniques were effective for you, sort of coming out as a new agent?
So I would say a big help of mine is social media. I have a bigger social media presence than I think. That's my biggest marketing. Really, some of the only marketing that I personally do. I try to post a lot on TikTok. I've not been as good with it recently, but I try to post on TikTok. Facebook's been a good social media for me. So kind of just taking a different route to my marketing. I have gotten clients from TikTok, and, I've spoken about it on panels that I've done, and other agents are like, oh, I don't even know what that is. Like, social media seems so far for me. So, I take that to my advantage as, maybe that's my little niche if other people aren't doing all.
And how did you use social media? Can you talk to me a little bit more about that? Are there specific things you would post? Was it personal? Was it about homes? Talk to me a little bit about your strategy there.
Yeah, so I kind of do a little bit of everything, especially on my TikTok. I do home tours of every open house I would do. I would do home tours of new constructions for builders, other agents that, have, if they're a friend of mine at my brokerage, I'll do a video tour of the house they're listing. Obviously, I give them credit for the actual listing. So I do home tours. I'll do little info videos, like what is earnest money, terms like that, homeowner tips, seller tips. And then once in a while, I do like a neighborhood highlight. So I'll drive around the neighborhood and kind of highlight some houses, sometimes statistics. So I try to really mix it up instead of just posting, if I was just sitting there talking or something like that. So yeah, I try to mix it up to have a little bit of everything.
So fun. So
Yeah.
Other than your social media, were there other tactics that you utilized to achieve success so quickly, or was there an audience that you targeted? What do you think got you success so quickly?
I will say yes to everything. So every time another agent or a lender or anybody wanted to meet with me, I always said yes. I always went. Every opportunity that I had for networking, I went to the event. My local association has committees. I'm on multiple committees. I'm on chairs. I'm on education task force. Just saying yes to anything to network, gain trust with those lenders or different agents as referral partners. I can confidently say that is definitely where I found my most success, is just saying yes to any opportunity that I
That's great. You must be exhausted.
Yeah, I do have a trend of working a lot.
So as you met new clients through all these different avenues, how do you build relationships with them?
Well, I think, I have a bit of a psychology background with going to ICU. So kind of learning different personality traits. And I worked in a lab at ISU studying perceived personalities and things like that. We did case studies and we would observe them and do reports on them. So I think I learned a lot about that, not changing my personality, but adapting to different personalities, communication methods, and just being able to make the client or individual feel comfortable. I would say a big portion of my sales, especially this year, were from single girls. So I think they like working with someone maybe more around their age. We can be very candid when we're looking in a house together. If it's just not fitting their vibe, we'll kind of just look at each other and be like, okay, we can head out, so just making them feel comfortable, but also making sure that we have a level of trust and they know, I'm going to take care of them. I'm going to get the best deal possible.
That's great. Do you have any stories with specific clients that stand out to you?
Yeah, I do. I had an investor client that I really enjoyed working with, him and his wife. And I have I don't know if it's an irrational fear of someone being in the house when I'm getting there. So I would wait till he got there and I'd open the door and then I'd be like, Tim, you first. If anyone's going to go in, you're going in first. So it just had to be a funny thing. And one of my clients this past year, we looked for quite some time. I think we offered on 8 houses in the middle of the spring. She was in the hottest price range. And after closing, we were both like, what are we going to do? Like, I'm not going to text you all day every day. We're like, wait, I want to be friends. So that kind of thing, I just love that. I love feeling part of their family. I get invited to housewarming parties and Christmas parties, and it just makes me so happy to, make that lasting impact on the families.
That's wonderful. And you moved to a new place, so you're starting your own community here. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned how you didn't expect to have the success that you had in your first year, but you did. And here you are. You're heading into your 3rd year. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Wow. Well, I just recently, my fiance and I bought our first house, about a month and a half ago. So I hope we're doing a lot of construction. It's currently has like no drywall. So I hope we're moved in and I hope to have a family. I'd love to be, maybe a mentor of some sort to young agents. I love helping new agents, giving advice, and I don't see it as a threat at all, like some, agents may. So if I could be some type of training or mentor to other agents, I think that would be really fulfilling for me. And obviously, gaining success in my real estate to, be comfortable doing it as a full-time job and, either me partnering up with another agent or creating a team would be fantastic for me. I am an independent agent right now. I do have referral partners within my brokerage, but if I could be, some sort of a team lead or even just like a 2-person team, I think I would really like that.
Those are excellent aspirations. You mentioned you wanted to help other people, other new agents. Do you have any tips or tricks that you've learned that made you successful that you'd like to share with aspiring real estate agents?
Yeah. Well, like I said, say yes to more things, even if you're uncomfortable, because when you're uncomfortable, you're growing and you're learning. So I would say that's a huge part. Getting out there. Don't wait for the business to come to you. You've got to put yourself out there. Whether that's, I think I did 54 open houses my first year, and I didn't get many clients from it, but I learned so much. I got so comfortable talking to people in a house, about the neighborhoods, the specs. You just learn by doing. That's how I learned. So I just did it. Every weekend I do 1, 2, 4 open houses every weekend. I did it on Easter. I did it on the Super Bowl Sunday. And yeah, not many people came, but I could shoot TikTok videos. I at least talked to one person. I learned more about the house. I was in the house. I was in the neighborhood. So I just say really, take the opportunities that you're given. And if you aren't, given any, find some, because there's going to be something that you can do for someone. I've asked other agents, if you ever need help with anything, if you want someone to host an open house, if you don't have time for client or you're going out of town, call me. I'll do it. I'll help you and we'll work together. And that has definitely been the biggest thing for me. And that's my biggest tip for new agents as well.
That is great advice, Melissa. Really great. So let's have some fun and jump into our lightning round.
Okay.
I'm going to ask a question. Provide your immediate response. 60 seconds or less, just what sort of comes into your mind. So do you have a book or maybe even a podcast that you listen to that you'd recommend for the audience?
So I actually read Selling Servant. In my downtime on my open houses, I'd read that book, and I think it's very motivational. Like, it makes you want to go out and do something. So I thought that was a good book to read, as well as it had some good advice and tips in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so if we had a time machine and you could go back to the day you started this journey, what advice would you give yourself?
Mainly that I would be okay and that I'd make it, because there were many occasions, many tears, of wanting it so badly and so worried that it wasn't going to work out or wasn't going to happen for me. So just telling myself that, you'll work hard and it'll happen. With as hard as I was working or am working, success will come. So just be patient and you're going to be okay.
And it has, and you are.
Yes.
So if you could have dinner with one person, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I have never thought about this question. Honestly, my grandpa, we're extremely close, and I enjoy talking to him and his wisdom and his stories and experiences. And he is still alive, so I could very well go do that. But him and I have always had a special connection, and we're very close. So
that's great. And I'm sure he's full of great advice and probably amazing experiences.
Yes, he's 96 years of wisdom.
What? Oh my gosh.
I
Wow.
know. Yeah.
Congratulations. What did you do at work yesterday?
Oh gosh. I tried to schedule a closing with one of my clients. He's a doctor, so trying to balance that schedule of, getting time in to get his closing, and his wife is traveling overseas. So that took up a big chunk of my day. And then I was negotiating an offer on a lot that I had listed. So I stayed pretty busy.
Stayed pretty busy. That's a good thing in real estate, no doubt.
Yeah, especially around the holidays.
Yeah. So if listeners or viewers want to follow your journey or connect with you, how can they do so?
Yep. So on all social media platforms, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, it's just Melissa Douglas Realtor.
Thank you, Melissa. It's been wonderful to hear your journey and the success that you've had, some of the tips and tricks that you used to find your success. And I'm excited to get this out to our audience and learn from you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you guys so much. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission. We hope today's stories and insights inspired you to take that next step in your real estate journey. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode, or head over to our channel to see some of the other content we've produced. We'd also love to hear from you. Drop a comment below with your biggest takeaway or a question for our next guest. If you have a recommendation for someone we should interview, please send a note to UnlockingRealEstate@ColibriRealEstate.com.